Yeah, I know. 4 o'clock.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I can direct your attention this way, this words, as opposed to out other words, or the words I'm about to say, that would be wonderful. Because we're about to start. The camera is actually running, and I'm talking loudly. Well, I will take care of the normal set of things. First,
guys,
okay. The usual announcements. First, welcome to Sacred Grounds, the longest running poetry open mic that we know of in the known and unknown universe. Give yourself a round of applause for being here, just really quickly. Okay. A bit of applause for Teddy and Fiona, our hosts who are back there. If you like the food, if you like us, if you like them, if you like her, if you like him, if you're like me, then you're in trouble. Tonight's feature is present and accounted for. Jean Marie Spacuzza, give the Queen's wave so they know where you are. Same in many ways, infamous in others, but I'll let her introduce you to that. Tonight's keynote is Clyde Always, who is also coming back to the Open. Marco Harps is the mini feature, and of course we have Jean Marie as the feature. Now, just to give you an update for the video, what happens now is I pretty much get it very quickly on the YouTube links. So now when I post them in the email or on the Facebook, it's a YouTube link, so you can constantly go back and find out whatever you want to see and be embarrassed as you think you might be because of that. So I thank Mr. Natural for that. If you have a cell phone, now is the time to say, gosh, Daniel's taking out his cell phone and he's telling me to, oops, that's the wrong button, to turn it off. So that way it won't go off while you're doing something and in the midst of something. And I'd like to say you can put it on vibrate and get a nice exciting aspect to your evening or after that. Fabulous prizes, I'm going to go through a few of them. Tonight's theme, it's 11/11, folks. There is a theme in the air, so think about that. The light content is on. The amplifier is set up. I'm going to introduce just a few of the fabulous prizes, not all of them. Now this is a brand new, absolutely right out of the wrapper, little wallet thingy that someone might say, oh, I want that, it's so darn cute. Then there's Rising Voices, writings of young Native Americans that I got from Richard Sanderell, so this is a very nice volume. You notice there are cards in here. So some of the other prizes are, I decided to make a new one. I will choose the next week's theme. That's for those people who want to do that. The keynote, if you pick this as one of your prizes, do come back next week and do the keynote. If you're interested in featuring on the 9th, there's that. Because I don't have anybody for the 9th, the person canceled out. And then the mini feature, which of course is at the end of the evening, 8 minutes of that. So there's a few of them. And if you like Francis Petrarch, well, here is a whole bunch of Francis Petrarch poems translated, it says, by Nicholas Kilmer. I've only read a couple in here, but good work. There's a few others which I'll go over.
Yeah, well, that was just typing that.
This Sunday, November 15th, Sally Love Sonder at the Cultural Integration Fellowship. It's going to be a great open mic, a very nice event. It's always cool to be there. And there's a couple of these here. And then someone signed on the email, so if you want to get the email that I send out once a week, sign this. God, this is exhausting. Last thing, I do have my book. It's nearly ready. And you can order one in advance by using one of these fancy little forms, which are right
Oh,
there.
I want one. I want one.
I like that girl. Calm down. Calm down. So we're going to begin in just a moment. Clyde Always is the mini. We have a bunch of people on, so we should be able to get everything done. Memorial Day is a theme. If you have something appropriate, I appreciate that. I have one. Hopefully it'll be, acceptable. Veterans Day. Thank you, Veterans Day.
Same thing.
A war to celebrate the end of wars. I mean, a holiday to celebrate the end of wars. Doesn't make sense, did it? All right, so I'm done with the announcements. Let us get on with the proverbial shoe. Will Clyde Always kindly come up here and kick it off?
Guys.
Bluebird by Charles Bukowski, as interpreted by Clyde Owens, accompanied by Haley, the ukulele. There's a bluebird that lives in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him, I say. Stay in there. I'm not going to let anybody see you. There's a bluebird that lives in my heart, but I pour whiskey on him. Inhale cigarette smoke, and then the whores and the bartenders and the grocery clerks never know he's in there. There's a bluebird that lives in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say, stay down. You want to mess me up? You want to screw up the works? You want to blow my book sales in Europe? There's a bluebird that lives in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too clever. See, I only let him out at night when everybody's asleep. I say, I know that you're there, so don't be sad. And then I put him back, and he's singing a little in there. I haven't quite let him die. And we sleep together like that, with our secret pact. And it's nice enough to make a man weep, but I don't weep. Do you? Thanks, everybody.
Is that yours? Is that yours? What? What you just did there was your poem.
No, that's Charles Bukowski.
Oh, okay, sorry, yeah, I gotta give you the card, sorry.
Yeah.
So, that's the other announcement I forgot. If you do something by somebody else, you put your name, the name of the poet, the name of the poem, or the song, whichever, so I don't always choose Charge of the Light Brigade by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, who didn't write the Charles of the Light Brigade, but he wrote something else, but he got in trouble. It's not my fault. All right, so let me read the next 7,462 readers on the open mic. So we have the next 5 readers: Ricardo, Buford, Bill, Delta, David, Jimmy, then Stephanie, before Clara, Sue, Hal, Robbins, Beeps, then Richard, and then Clyde coming back to give us his all in the open. So, will Ricardo kindly step forward and take the mic, remembering to give it back at the end.
Hi, Sacred Grounds, and it's been a while. I thought I had read here for the last time, but I'm back. Morning Star, I need you to make it no matter what this winter. What you do for Morning Star camps, you do for me. I want to say hi to my sister Shinobi Butler. Hi, family. Hi, Tom Gelbach. Go Ducks. And I mean, Morning Star, you do what it takes to survive this winter. Do you get me? Believe President, Royal Army Command Butler. America. Why didn't you tell me, Jill? The pain of Egypt. A soul in love creates passion. Love creates a nation where death does not exist. My love without America. How can without be burning eternal? A divine king and understanding without mind. Pain is getting no nouns and particles. Evil in San Francisco, forever, forever pain. Jill, why didn't you talk with me? Love, American Poeta. The Lunatry's titled America, Lunatry CB 1999. From Evil's Madness. Hezekiah heard too in tonight's Mary, Betty's gold key, the reprieve. What the fog covers before gin and tonic eyes, the majesty of spiritual freedom. I am your king, Persia, and I cannot wait to see your show. Today royalty dies slower than evil, waiting for the evil dead. Slope into madness done. Times are hard. The great despair. The only thing in common, the saints get some relief. I get their plan. Racists and capitalists, too slow to die. Cup of dinner. I will your check right. All over your body. Dive into my center and drain my well of love. Into your soul, fall away down all the way down. I will climb eternity for our first kiss and hold that moment tender in my arms all night. Dreaming. Love, American Poeta. Morning Star, survive this winter. Thanks everybody. Believe. President Royal Army Command Butler. Love, American Poeta.
All right, thank you. Okay.
Thanks, Jen.
The next five are Cooper, Phil, Delta, David, Jimmy, Bodeni, Bodena, Bana, Bopini, E5, Bopini. Let's give Buford a round of applause.
She said her grandson just got married. She said her grandson just got married, standing there underneath the right field stands watching the Giants win again, so many straight. She's around 70 years old, I say, has been blonde, looks as if, at one time, it looks as if that was the way she used to look, but now is turning gray. She seems to like to come in and talk to me, says she'll be there for the next Giant series in about a week. I wonder what she thinks of me, though it seems positive. Her eyes gleaming as the Giants tack on one more win. Okay. All right. There's that. I hang out at Cafe Trieste a lot, and this is about that. Cafe Trieste plays Italian music for all the Italians, I guess, here in North Beach. It's an otherwise quiet night as the poetry group has just finished reading and in the case for critic, in the case of a couple people critiquing or at least commenting on what was said. With no jukebox on now, it seems pretty calm, almost dead, as people write at tables with glued on tiles, pens scribbling the truth, at least as the writer sees it. A faded mural hangs in the back wall of women conversing as one holds the hand of a naked young boy standing beside her. The usual opposing walls, pose scenes of mostly the cafe's visiting dignitaries, including the late, great Luciano Pavarotti. Thank you for giving us a touch of North Beach. All right,
Bill, then Delta, then David, then
Hey,
Jimmy,
Bill.
then Stephanie. Bill Mercer, who in mercy and compassion shall find his way here, etc., etc.
Okay, so when Danda said the theme was Memorial Day.
Oh, it's Bill. It's Bill.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. No, it's okay. Just have a seat here. Bill, I thought you were adjusting the microphone.
Slow making my way up.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Anarchy.
Even they make.
No, I'm fine. Let's try this.
You don't
It's
need
not very
migraine.
fast getting here. This poem is words and wordlessness. Words wind up the world like a grandfather clock. They shackle us to rank and tick-tock us to duty. Priests pulpit prayers to the parish. Politicians propound propaganda to the body politic. Poets peacock their poems to posterity. Professors expound on their polemics. Peddlers push their products. Promoters peddle their programs. Prophets preach to the people. But when that great clock of the world unwinds, time is bent into a circle by the gravity of a peach and the scent of honeysuckle, and then floats upward on the updraft of music while the clock hands clap to the rhythm of joy. Our Cinderella bodies become palaces of pleasure, and our unwound words, divorced from the rigid march of rectilinear time, are translated into evanescent jewels, like the myriad drops of diamond and emerald dew, glittering in the magical morning light.
You know, see, I told you, gentle, kindly, almost, innocent child, book-like kind of character.
Just me?
No, her, I think. Oh, okay. No, she said no. Give Delta a round of applause, please. She's here. Ready to call her out. I'll stop that now.
Right. Okay. So this is a short piece about, and if I have time, I'll sing a short song. Maybe. Okay, this is a short piece about, it's set a couple of decades ago in the Mission District in San Francisco. And it's called Glitter Doll, Rock Star. He lived above, so it's just a character sketch. He lived above El Shabole. The noise never bothered him. Today he woke up into a hangover, took his lithium, did half a line of speed, and stepped out to get coffee and cat food. It was Saturday, a beautiful day, heavenly. He stopped to write his name in some wet cement. There were a lot of important things to do today. He felt extremely happy. Last night his band played a gig at the Chameleon, and all his friends had been there, cheering, watching as he goose-stepped in a black negligee. He had felt loved. To him, the most important thing. Glitter Doll was ready for fame. He'd been ready all his life. Often he imagined himself being interviewed on TV, riding in limousines, trashing expensive hotel rooms, and accepting the uninhibited advances of sex-crazed young boys. Again and again, he relived the evening in his mind. The performance had been constantly interrupted by wailing feedback, and one of the amps had blown up. The guitarist had kept stopping to retune his guitar, and when the audience began throwing beer cans, the proprietor had stopped the show prematurely. But all that Glitter Doll remembered was adoration. He walked down through the lower mission, his thoughts shifting and changing shape. 6 feet tall, he had a shaved head and wore steel-toed suede boots, a death's head t-shirt, studded wristbands, and several strings of yellow and pink popper beads that swung gaily about his neck as he passed a group of homeboys on a stoop. All of his eyes tracked him balefully. He paused and flashed them a winsome, rotten-toothed smile. "Hello, darlings. Lovely day for faggots, isn't it?" At some point in the not-too-distant future, his purple suede boots would come to contrast sadly with his Kaposi sarcoma. He never would get a T-cell count, and despite extravagant plans to the contrary, he would end his life in diapers. But today, he felt so happy. He felt like he could fly to the moon. Later on, he would tie a balloon to his cat Leon's tail to punish him for eating his pot plants. Then, maybe after that, he'd go downtown to see the shops and all the expensive things that he didn't want to buy. The honchos on the stoop made derogatory comments about him after he'd passed, but not quite loudly enough to force him to go back to deal with them. Continuing on his way, he blithely entertained visions of future glory, humming to himself the while, "A pretty girl is like a melody." Okay, this is just practice for me because I haven't sung in public for a long time, all right? So thank you for your tolerance. It's a song by Declan O'Rourke. Galileo, Galileo fell in love. Galileo, Galileo fell in love with a Galilean boy, and he wondered who in heaven had invented such a joy. But the question got the better of his scientific mind, and to his blind and dying day, he gazed up high and wondered why, and sometimes cried. Who put the rainbow in the sky? Who lights the stars at night? Who dreamt of someone so divine? Someone like you who made them mine. Love will make you ask some funny questions now and then, but consider the alternative. 'Cause I remember when I was lonely and unhappy, and my lips were cold as ice, but you kissed me, and good heavens, here I am in paradise. So if ever I'm not kissing you or looking in your eyes, I won't be blind and I won't cry. I'll gaze up high and wonder why, and thank the guy who put the rainbow in the sky, who lights the stars at night, who dreamt of someone so divine, someone like you and made them mine, someone like you and made them mine. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. David knows he's next, so he's up there. Give him another round of applause because, he likes it, I like it. If you like it, if you're happy, I'm happy.
You bore me to tears of the crocodile already. Roiled wave. Are you mesmerized by form? Now step outside the norm. The villain in the villanelle has stolen words I used to tell about the ringing of the bells,
To zip my lips is not a crime, nor rippling stipples through my rhyme. Inaudible is theft sublime. Now rampant word scheme runs pell-mell. Its splash is absent, dropped in well, yet faintly echoes from seashell. From whence this resonance of chime? I spin around to find that I'm split into galactic time. Anxieties I cannot quell if heaven's boundaries merge with hell. A tone, in tone, a single cell. A trumpet blast in key of line. Poetic joust I'm loath to sell. I'm ancient when I'm in my prime, so why don't I just stand and yell? That's my dragon voice. That's my smoke. As cool retools the weather, as far as fingers sleep, as headless horsemen whisper wood, and drive till dusk is deep, as jack-o'-lanterns sputter, as rictus masks rebound, as spirits rasp and mutter, or shudder underground. The dead and dying ring us, reprimand we fools, moan in pain, descry insane, lest we return as ghouls. A razor nicks the surface, a trickle drops in dirt. Eternity's infirmity, release your endless hurt. Down the hole, ne'er hot nor cold, arriving in the den, good or evil, take your choice. Now count from 1 to 10. And finally, from, I believe around 1959, Lieber Stoller, check this out. Bought myself an idol with a golden head, great big idol with a golden head. Put it on a shelf right above my bed, great big idol with a golden head. Got down on my knee. Come on, stop fighting me. Got down on my knees and began to pray. Great big idol with a golden head. I said, idol, tell me, where's my Bigfoot made? Great big idol with a golden head. The idol's eyes began to wink and blink. Great big idol with a golden head. He said, hold on, Jim, give me time to think. Great big idol with a golden head. The lightning flashed and the idol did speak. Great big idol with a golden head. He said, your Bigfoot mate. She's down at Catfish Creek, rocking and a rolling. Yeah, she's rocking and a rolling, rocking and a rolling, hopping and a bumping and a jumping and a bobbing. And whoa, 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 whoa. Said goodbye to the idol on the shelf. Oh, gee, what did you see? Went down to the creek to see for myself. Oh, gee, what did you see? I parked the car and I looked around. Oh, gee, what did you see? There was a mess of empty beer cans lying on the ground. Oh, gee, what did you see? I peeked through the door and my hair turned gray. Oh, gee, what did you see? In the middle of the floor was Bigfoot May, rocking and a rolling. Yeah, she was a rocking and a rolling, hopping and a bopping and a bumping and a jumping and oh, 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 oh. Went back to the house, I was feeling so blue. Great big idol with a golden head. I said, tell me, idol, what am I going to do? Great big idol with a golden head. He said, I got the answer. There's only one way. Great big idol with a golden head. You got to learn to do the boogie with your Bigfoot May. Rockin' and a rollin', rockin' and a rollin', rockin' and a rollin', hoppin' and a boppin' and a jumpin' and a bumpin' and oh, whoa, 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 yeah! Keep it solid, keep it solid.
So he was telling me about the team of writers, Lieber and Stoller. They wrote a couple of the songs.
I mean, nothing but a hound dog, Kansas City, all the coasters. The coasters were the Robins before they were the coasters. So Charlie Brown, Yakety Yak, Poison Ivy.
That's just a
Along came Jones.
Still itty bit, still itty bit. They did so many more.
What talent.
So he decided to bring them here live today, and I thought,
Yeah.
give another round of applause. All right, James Mankind. James, otherwise known as Jimmy. Then we have Stephanie, Clara, Hal, me, Richard, and Kai always coming back. Oh no, Dennis can't do. Thank you. Are you going to use your device, James?
Yeah, I think I should.
Okay, well, you want
Because
to
I
have
don't
a
have it
mic?
memorized. No.
You have a mic? Okay. Because if they can't hear you in Poughkeepsie, then, you know.
Yeah, no, they won't.
Waving to Poughkeepsie out there, we have.
Hey, that's my hometown.
People usually just tell me to shut up. Anyway, I just wrote this a couple days ago, and I think it's a little short enough so I can BS around for a little while. But this is one of those rare moments. I don't want that. You don't want that?
Get it out of his face.
Yeah. Schleberschrank. I'll just start with it. Tell me why the little old lady cries in the front of the bus where the old folks sit, having done their bit to get us to here. When the world's on fire, when the weather's weird, tell me why the little old lady cries in front of the bus where the old folks sit, having done their bit to get us to here. Where the world's on fire and the weather's weird. 3 transit police come in to check her non-person pass, not to mention if she'll even last. They took an oath to serve and protect. Why do I feel that she'll hit the deck? This one last ride to the grocery store. Well, tell me why the little old lady cries. Is it because the end is nigh? She must be asking why she got herself to here. Or if she should have fought that ancient fear for some good thing to remember life by. If there was a better cause, another way to die than the one they found, than here, where they're about to go down. Do not give in, I cry out. Stay calm, honey. Let me scream and shout. Get away from her. She's not what you're all about. The policemen turn like rabid wolves. To me, the wise-ass meddling white guy hood, on the other side of the aisle, watching my own life go by, in even bigger piles of sad old news as the little old ladies cry. Cut to my core. I give the driver $10 more. I say, let her ride every day for free. Gorbachev, open this door. I jump and run, the wind in my face, tears in my eyes. I barely know this place. I live where the little old lady
Jimmy of the Hammonds. Thank you.
Jimmy sometimes.
Mankind was mankind today. Laurel and Hardy. Alistair Crook. Efren Zimbalist Jr. Marlon Brando.
Oh.
Ed von Maastricht. I mean Ed Vard von Maastricht. How about Ed Begley? Ed Begley. I like that name.
Leo G. Carroll?
Leo G. Carroll. You can hear him. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached a wonderful point in the program where I get to introduce Stephanie Mann. I have to get your attention somehow. Silliness prevails for long fails.
So, welcome everybody. Hi, Greg. Hi there. So great to have Jean Marie speak who is the first feature tonight. And so I went on a birding expedition Sunday with the Audubon at Hayward Shoreline Regional Park, and I wrote this. We saw a Wilson snipe, which is a freshwater bird, rare to see on a salt marsh. So anyway, it goes like this. Hello, little snipe. So nice to see you. Welcome to the bay, the big lake that is San Francisco Bay. How strange to see you in the salt marsh in San Leandro. What the heck are you doing in these parts, so far from your home by the rivers and freshwater lakes? Many binoculars have been raised to see you, spotting scopes on tripods focus on you. One by one we birders see you, all decked out in your orange striped plumage, amazing there in the green and brown of the marsh. On this gray day, heavy with clouds, curtains of rain across the bay in Burlingame. You step among the pickleweed and New Zealand spinach, immigrants of nature, as an osprey passes overhead with a fish in its talons. Now I ask you, are you God? Are you the Messiah? Are you one of the exotic animals at forecasting the coming rains? And what can we who wonder do to make your stay more pleasant? You say nothing, but would prefer if we didn't shoot, net, or trap you, or build a shopping mall or an access freeway here on the formerly huge marsh at Hayward Shoreline. As for air and water, this muddy, toxic stuff is probably the best you can expect here, where a million shorebirds gather, as we, your worshippers, seek the answers to life's persistent questions, that you make us forget the troubles of the world and life's issues. You and the long view north, west, south, and east, out to where the water meets the land, and the land meets the cloud bank. We cease talking and lose the human invention of language. We become one with nature, and nothing, absolutely nothing, seems more important. We veterans of the poetry scene, doing hand-to-hand combat with racism, capitalism, religious bigotry, and subjugation and suffering. So let's celebrate the warriors of the word, and the many decades some have put in on this thing called the San Francisco poetry scene. You are the heroes of the truth.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. And now, Clara Sue will approach the microphone and provide us with the insights that she is known for and enjoyed for and valued by and interested in.
Keep going, keep going.
A very helpful and kind person, although she just brushes those kinds of things off. So now I can say them, and she can't say anything because it's recorded.
I'd like to read a set of poems titled Grasp. I leave to another there and here. Is it Prague? Stilted grim faces bleeding with history, or Ossos, sunning by the Aegean saffron and paprika colorings that I am acquainted with stones? Or is it in my bedroom where an egg-shaped likeness of a Buddha happens in my palm? The other day, the white stone on railing rests a butterfly. All these I heed, the unspeaking pieces gather me. This morning, my urge to draw you deepens when rusty fingers call for purpose. In our room there are books and stones and things practicing stillness for months or maybe years, wearing powder and silk the layers of time. Shades lighten on your graying chest where I place a paper, one hand feeling your torso, the other sketches. Unstirred in your nakedness, you clothe me with tedium, and I, waken, cover your thighs. Rise to make tea, boil water 100 times. We made love 1,000 times somewhere. Now cool to touch. It is late afternoon before I drink. Long shiny leaves resting abundant in amber liquid. Bitter. Thank you.
New one?
Yeah. All right.
Hot off the presses.
Yes. It's called Scattered Brain. Scatter me brain, wee little brain, branded and brined. Oh, what a ding-a-ling. Ding-a-ling, it scatters, breaks all the fetters. This wee bit of matter, a fumbling, a stumbling, a googling, slides on a duck's back. It goes a-weaning off with the head, ding-a-ling me brain. Misdirection is magic.
Thank you.
Oh, she always surprises. Thank you, Clara. And now Hal Robbins before Peeps, then Richard, then Clyde, then our teacher. So Hal Robbins, kindly take the microphone and take charge of this space in a way that only you know we can. By the way, you know we know. What? Never mind. I'm stopping.
Hymn to Autumn by John Keats. Season of mists and mellow fruitfulness, close bosom friend of the maturing sun, conspiring with him how to load and bless with fruit the vines that round the thatch eaves run, to bend with apples the mossed cottage trees and fill all fruit with ripeness to the core, to swell the gourd and plump the hazel shells with a sweet kernel, to set budding more and still more later flowers for the bees, until they think warm days can never cease, for summer hath o'erbrimmed their clammy cells. Who hath not seen thee oft amidst thy store? Sometime whoever seeks abroad may find thee sitting careless on a granary floor, thy hair soft lifted by the winnowing wind, or on a half-reaped furrow, sound asleep, drowsed by the fume of poppies, while thy hook spares the next swathe and all its twined flowers. And sometime, like a gleaner, thou dost keep steady thy laden head across a brook, or by a cider press with patient look thou watchest the last oozings, hours by hours. Where are the songs of spring? Aye, where are they? Ask not for them. Thou hast thy music, too, where barred clouds bloom the soft dying day and touch the stubble plains with rosy hue. Then, in a wailful choir, the small gnats mourn among the river's sallows, borne aloft or sinking as the soft wind lives or dies, and full-grown lambs, loud bleat from hilly bourne, hedge crickets sing. Now with trebles soft the redbreast warbles from the garden croft, and gathering swallows twitter in the skies. Oh, good, all right. 2.5 minutes left. So in keeping with the November 11th Veterans Day, Armistice Day, military theme, I will try this novelty poem, The Siege of Belgrade, which was written by a newspaper man of the 1840s, Alaric Alexander Watts. In this poem, each line begins with a different letter of the alphabet, and each word in each line is the same letter of the alphabet. The poem goes through 26 stanzas from A to Z and then returns to A. The Siege of Belgrade. An Austrian army awfully arrayed, boldly by battery besieged Belgrade. Cossack commanders cannonading come, dealing destruction's devastating doom. Every endeavor engineers essay, for fame, for fortune, fighting furious fray. Generals 'gainst generals grapple, gracious God, how honors heaven heroic hardihood. Infuriate, indiscriminate in ill, kindred kill kinsman, kinsman kindred kill. labor low levels, longest, loftiest lines, men march mid-mounds, mid-moles, mid-murderous mines. Now noxious, noisy numbers, nothing, naught of outward obstacles opposing aught. Poor patriots, partly purchased, partly pressed, white quaking quickly, quarter, quarter quest. Reason returns, religious right redounds, Suwarrow stops such sanguinary sounds. Truce to thee, Turkey, triumph to thy train, unwise, unjust, unmerciful Ukraine. Vanish vain victory, vanish victory vain. Why wish we warfare? Wherefore welcome were Xerxes, Eximenes, Xanthus, Xavier. Yield, yield, ye youths, ye yeomen, yield your yell. Zeus's, Zarpater's, Zoroaster's zeal, attracting all, arms against acts appeal. Thank you.
You're right, sir. You're right. Oh, man. I tell you. Yield. So leave it to me to follow that, right? Oh my God.
Good luck.
I didn't hear that either.
Yeah. All right.
Tell us a wee limerick.
Oh, wee limerick is it? Okay, a wee limerick.
A wee limerick.
Oh, Mr. Bush, just how did you pass through the Ivy League's posh business class? With your brain out of gear, it fell into your ear. Now you fart out your speeches of gas. Well, that's, you know, that's the only thing I can do.
Same genre.
Same genre. All right, so I'm gonna read a couple things from this. Is my book. It's almost completely done, but over here, if thou wert interested, this could be filled out and taken care of, and I would see to it that when they are actually completely really done, you shall have them. Where did I go? Okay, so this, in line with the theme of the day, and see what comes after that, just make sure.
Does your book have a lot of things that you've read?
Oh yes, many of these things have been read here as a matter of fact. Thank you for that query. And
Does it have all your jokes?
there are jokes in here. For instance, why will they bury Cheney 12 feet down? Because deep down he's a nice guy. This is one of my favorite ones. How many Republicans does it take to shingle a roof? I wouldn't know. Well, it depends on how thinly you slice them. All right, so now a couple of poems for Aikido here. So if you'll remember an individual named John McCain who ran for president not that long ago, and in the course of that election, I wrote this poem because of something he did, and it'll all come out, you'll see. Anyway. Also, this poem references a song called So Long as Love Remembers, which is an ancient old song from the 20s, and a friend of mine used to sing it a lot, and the title came to mind after I wrote the poem, so here's the poem. When I read the headlines, mind you, not the story nor its particulars, I was moved by John McCain's holding up a dead soldier's dog tags while proclaiming that this was what politics is all about. Well, he got that right in my mind, but I bet in yours too, but cynically for all that, he did not know what he said, just as he did not know what he did. It is politics, holding up the remains of a dead man to proclaim that this somehow justifies, makes a right, or absolves his own role in the process by which those dangling rectangles with the dull polish of cheap metal were brought to him at dear cost, at shocking loss, at heartache and demure aging sorrow. How dare he? How dare he hold up something so precious for the camera's cold consideration to get a moment on See Not News or Faux News? How dare he sacrifice such hallowed remains of one whose spirit willed its flesh onto the salience of death, and so in comparison make light of John's own touted tale? Has he no shame, no decency? He held up those pieces for consideration, suspending them from support, for personal gain, for their silent, reflected glory, as well as for horror and damning dishonor. What a useless old tool he is for this theatrical vomit. Now, I imagine the soldiers' survivors allowed this. Some of them perhaps believed in what the soldier died for. I do too. I believe in making the world a better place, in the right to live in peace. I believe in honor, for example, the high values of civilization. I believe in truth, justice, and the American way, for Christ's sakes, as we called it at one time. But I grieved suddenly for this unnamed person whose sad legacy dangled from the plump, fleshy fingers of that fat fuck. A sagging beast, a lying, sold-out bastard whose morality has been mired until nothing of quality shows. And so the issue of whether anything worthwhile still exists in the heart and soul of John McCain is now upon the table. And to my lights, that's where the issue shall lie, so long as love remembers. My mother thanks you, my brothers, cousins, best friends, uncles, second neighbors.
Needed to be said. Thank you.
Thank you. And so this actually is a poem of mine that Mr. Pond read here some time ago, and he did such a great job on it. He's here, and I'm going to read this, and he'll go, I remember that. Such a great job. It's called On Poetry. Poetry leaves no vacancy, no stone unturned, as it were, no space unexplored, no assumption untested, no theory is let to simply rest upon its laurels. Truth is not shy, so you may as well get over it right now and surrender to the inevitable. Let the loving experience of everything there is, from the rich mantle of life coating our wondrous globe to the vast glittering mysteries set in the jet of its surround, come to you gently in your dreams, into your heartfelt soul. You see, in every breath you exhale or child's spoonful of soil, there is in truth something universal, something of God, and so something of you. Likewise, cup your hands and take up seawater. In such a universe are endless dancers cavorting who, drunk on life, have found that this is all there is to need. They do not need intelligent reasons to revel. They do not need to know what sanity is. And of course, love is ever on their minds. Although we cannot see those partiers, hear their music going on 24/7, 365, they are there and pumped up with ecstasy. There are, then, no empty spaces, no place where there is only darkness. There is no loneliness to those who, clear of eye, sound of soul, and who, so in love with love, are as to joyfully laugh even at death's extremities. And this takes us back to the very beginning. Poetry, my dear friends, leaves no vacancy, no heart untended, no love withheld, and no tear to fall alone.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
And now, the penultimate player, well, not the penultimate, the anti-penultimate player before our feature, Mr. Richard Sandera will come up. Then we have Clyde, then we have Gene, the Magic Spaghetti Show. The Magic Spaghetti Show, remember that? If you haven't bought your tickets for the Magic Spaghetti Show, I'm stopping.
Just the Spaghetti Factory. Does anybody miss the Spaghetti Factory? Anybody remember the Spaghetti Factory?
Yes.
I remember the Magic Spaghetti Show.
Well,
I'm stopping now.
Quickly, I just want to remind everybody the Diamond Dave celebration is happening on February 2nd.
at the main library downstairs at the Correct Auditorium from 4:30 to 7:30.
What day of the?
That's on Tuesday. And so if anybody have any stories, or if they just want to come and listen, that's free. Come and listen, or if you have stories you want to come and tell, or if you can't come and you want to send it by all the new different devices we have these days. Devices. So anyway, I hope everybody's getting my drift. Now, if you're interested, you want to email me, it's very simple. honoringdd@yahoo.com. All small case, HONORINGDD@yahoo.com. So, again, if you want to participate, please let us know. We're going to have to soon start putting the program together and see who we have and how much time we have. So right now, I'm sort of putting out, you may get 5 minutes, depending on how many people show up and want to participate.
May I add an addendum to that, please?
Yes.
Friday, Adobe Books is Dave's birthday.
That's
and
right.
his party is at Adobe Books Friday. I don't know what time.
Well, it's going to be right after the program. He has that program from 3 to 6 on Mutiny Radio, which I try to tell everybody, if you want to do some reading and you're off on Friday afternoon, he has the show 89.5. It's at the corner of 21st and Florida. You come, you're going to get on, and you know, he had 20. Yeah, 20 is live, and it's 22,000 downloads. Yes, and it's 20. Well. It's 22. 20, he had 22,000 downloads in June. So for satellite radio, that's pretty good. So, and plus you get to listen to your voice on radio, which is different than looking at yourselves when you're reading it. I preferred the voice myself. So.
Well, all right.
All right. Well, in honor of Veterans Day, I've had several pieces I could read, but I'm going to read this. For Nguyen Thi Hong and Nguyen Van Quay. The Vietnamese came to town, voiced concerns for others, family, themselves. Gentle, beauty, grace, never be fooled. They were warriors. They came because they were ill, sick, dying from various illnesses from America's gift that keeps on giving, Agent Orange. The one who could only cough, 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 and with each cough an accusation against an American company and government that poisoned her, her family, and countrymen. The other, frail, bent, torn by pain from cancer, and put back together. I saw in his eyes a glimmer of 1,000 suns where the ancestors live, a place where the elders of today go. The two are now in the glimmer of someone else's eyes, where they will not be forgotten, but only if we remember. This is a new one, short. It was so short when I read it the last time, people weren't sure. I read it at some other place, at Cafe International, as Clyde was there. Anyway, so I won't tell you, it's a short one. Welcome back, Gringo. Welcome back, Gringos. We're making the place nice for you. We bring in a draft house that will show movies at the New Mission Theater, where a sign saved by the Hysterical Society couldn't save what the old New Mission Theater represented. Beer and movies, good combo for immature young gringos. Across the street, a new bar with invisible bars, all nice dusky colors and clean, tells you who is welcome and who is not. European plays to be performed instead of the current art and theater. Uniformity will kill dissent. Move along, you artists and you non-gringos. This is no place for you. Well, in honor of Clara, I don't know if you've heard, because you were here for a while, and I don't know if you've heard this coyote. I hope you haven't. So anyways, coyote considers devices. Coyote sits in cafe sipping his green tea. Coyote hears green tea is good for everyone since he cleaned up from his previous ways. He watches the two-legged walk by at his window seat going from here to there, always looking for something as they do.
They look on their devices or stop and look on their devices or stop and look around while they look on their devices. Devices must always be ready at the ready or in hand, always ready, must be ready, ready. Text! Give yourself a selfie! Poor two-legged. The worst thing for them is to have their devices taken from them along with them, but to be alone with themselves and their own thoughts is terrifying for most. Their withdrawals will be worse than heroin or cigarettes. Coyote knows the lure. When cassettes and CD players came out, Coyote was right there taking his music with him wherever he went. He could insulate. He had grown bored with and disgusted with most of the conversations the two-legged were involved in. He would rather listen to slack key, blues, Texas style, or any matter for that matter. Music calms him. When he's with the two-legged, he's always unnerved. He stopped listening to the CD players in public when he realized the two-legged had chained themselves to newer devices and would not be communicating with anybody in front of them. This as always, also at a time when his old friends from the two-legged world had succumbed. Even crawling king snake has a laptop. Coyote knows that he's at a crisis moment. Will he join or not join? If he does, how will he use it? Will he become addicted as those who have joined the device revolution?
Richard Sandra, thank you. Sorry about that. And now Clyde always is going to be into one of his Sorry about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, come on, step right up, folks. Come on, grab yourself a front row seat before they're gone, and they're going fast. You want to miss this. It's time for another exciting installment of the Clyde Always Show. With me, your always clever, always handsome, always charming host, Clyde Always.
Marlene Sonnet II. The churning surf, her mind, it's never still. So solid stands her stoic, rocky bluff. A sheen upon the sand, her glowing will. Those breakers never seem to get enough. Another hidden cove, her every thought, where driftwood sofas under summer gleam. Her sense of humor crabs that sideways trot. Anemones and tidal pools, her dream. Horizons, sparkling azure are her eyes. Enormous whales could never hope to cross, nor albatrosses span them like the skies, or oysters outshine with their pearly gloss. All this in California, out of reach. In fair Vienna sleeps my dearest beach. Vegetarian bagel shop, vegetarian bagels, vegetarian bagel shop, vegetarian bagel. No turkey, no tuna, no salmon, no ham, no bacon, no salami, pepperoni, prosciutto, anchovy, no bologna, none of that. No lard, no corned beef, roast beef, pulled pork, pate, foie gras, no tongue, no tripe, no chicken breast, no goddamn highfalutin lobster salad neither. But it's a vegetarian bagel shop, vegetarian bagel, vegetarian bagel shop, vegetarian bagel. So what do they got? Got lettuce, got pickles, got olive oil, hummus and tahini, got pepperoncini, got lots of garlic, got sprouts, got cucumber, celery, and peanut butter jelly, and cream cheese, tofu, quinoa, kidney beans, local, organic, handcrafted, sustainable, fair trade, reclaimed, reused, recycled, compostable packaging. How green, 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 and it's all gluten-free down at the vegetarian bagel
radio show. We now returning to our regularly scheduled broadcast, and it is time for a portion of the show I call Poetry Tartar. So bear with me if it's a little hard to swallow. It's called Laptop Bunk by Clyde O'Wes. I can like that, I said. Let me text you a thread, and I'll tag you if you follow me. 'Cause I'm searching for friends, and I'm hip to the trends on my Apple phone 73. Yet I read my e-books in remotest of nooks while I sip on a $6 tea. Only sound that I hear is a bud in my ear as I download a season of Glee. The connection's so quick, any link that I click, it's like a leprechaun, Wee-Fee McGee. I know. In the faintest of glows, am I pressing my nose toward a sunset on Circuitry C. And I'm either too dumb or more likely too numb to imagine a world where I'm free. International 7:30. No covers.
All right, okay. Now,
Thank you for that. I mean, this is one of those. This has been one of those nights, right, where you go, "That's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's another good one. That's another good one. And then another good one." So we're having a run here, and our second half is going to be kick-ass, if you don't mind me saying so. So,
Sometimes the mini feats are pretty hot, I heard.
yeah, the mini feature is going to be hot as snot, as they say. If you're dancing with your honey and your nose is kind of runny, never mind. This is my favorite part of the show, where you get to brag on somebody in public while they squirm in embarrassment. Our feature, Jean Marie Spicuzza, was met by me some time ago at an open mic somewhere, and I said, "Wow, this person knows everything." And she does, and she's a rare bird. And she doesn't like being called a bird, right? You don't like me called a bird. Great voice, good perception, heartfelt. Don't get on her bad side. Because she'll get you. She's small. That doesn't matter. It's like my mom used to say, you know, a baby's finger can pull a shotgun trigger, you know. Not that she would do that. There. A great poet, a fun person. And your movie's opening tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll tell us a tiny bit about that.
Yeah.
Because that's it's a therapist, right?
Yeah.
I said it right, okay. She'll tell you a little bit about that. She'll come up here and wow you, and then we're going to have a break. I was told, though, and when the break time comes, I should turn the camera off because the camera is on, and then people stand over there and talk about things that are just like, okay, too much information. But, getting back to the subject at hand, Jean Marie Spicuzza, come up here and knock us out of the park one more time.
I thought you were making a short joke, and it actually is right.
Oh.
I'm smaller than I thought. Oh my gosh. I was like, that is too short. No, it's fine. I get some, am I shrinking, do you think? Am I shrinking?
No.
Don't tell me I'm getting taller, because then, just a little bit.
We shrink as we get older, just a little bit, about a half inch.
I have a friend, Len,
She's
who's
not older yet.
Sicilian, so he's also tiny, and he said, you're not really, you're proportionate, so it's not like you're short. It's like you're just further away. I'm just thinking it's further away. I love this place, and I love you guys, and I'm so happy to see so many familiar faces. I come here, and I think I know what I'm going to do, and then I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do, which is a real testament to this room, because you guys are hard to read in a good way. Like, there's not one thing happening here. There's all kinds of things happening here. So I'll just start with, I like true stories. I like true stories, so how I got out to the West Coast, in a way. I came to visit you in LA, and you seemed strangely gay, less heterosexual than you did in Milwaukee. Your friend Larry on the couch is suspicious. Your moist eyes, your fine soaps, your monkeys in the hallway, very clean apartment, what have you, all lead me to believe, but no. We sit together and argue over my fornicating behaviors and your adultery. Compassion, just missing 2 tickets from the fire commission and parking attendant outside, just like in my dream. What does it all mean? You tell me to stay, but upon leaving, you're getting into a car with Larry. And I've got a funny feeling that I won't be seeing you again. And in a few months, just outside the Hollywood Bowl, I am going to egg your car. I like true stories. This is good travel advice. Italians who yell and punch. Be careful when you travel through the Stazione Termini in Rome. My friend Wendy got socked in the face for no reason by a large woman wearing a t-shirt I couldn't read. I like true stories. Okay, so this is a reference to yes, this is a reference to the movie that Dan was talking about, called The Scarapist. Can anyone guess what that might be about? The Scarapist. You got an idea about that? Okay. Yeah. And so she's really scary, by the way. She's a very scary character. Oh, here, okay. So, this poem, I'm just going to read it. I have manifested such an abundance of disgust for my former pseudo-New Age therapist. It's almost a spiritual experience. She was a narcissistic sociopath. I gave up hating her for Lent. Needless to say, the results of my analysis were tragic. I haven't felt so violated since Tim Tuttle tried to grab me in the wilderness section of my Appalachian Trail. It was in the 6th grade after Little League practice. He told everybody we made out behind the science building, which really messed things up with my intended Jim Glenn. I watched him kiss my 4th cousin on the mouth on the Lake Bluff playground. It was like Shakespearean tragedy. After lunch, which consisted of Doritos and smoking hot pot in the back of the Citgo station, I watched in total awe as a soccer ball in PE spun towards me, going about 6 miles an hour. I kicked with all my zen and missed. Jody Lundgren laughed so hard she spit up gas station cravings and cottonmouth. We were not constructive members of society, but we were in the moment. My mom was apocalyptic. She stocked up on canned goods in our basement cellar. My dad didn't play favorites. He was mean to everybody. He made me eat that cream-style corn. Needless to say, I kept my Star Wars figures good and packed. I knew the limitations of my rigorous religious upbringing. Now I am wary of metaphysical peddlers who try to sell unmitigated certainty. They are pimps and panderers. The absence of unknowing is a dangerous result of cult and fascism. It is the path to Kool-Aid and other processed foods. Any psychology that tells you you can figure yourself out is inherently flawed. Understanding your own mind only goes so far. Eating with other people is much more fun. The sweet taste of Honey Delicious is the great mystery. It's a sex-shaped popsicle that pours into the cosmos like liquor made by monks. My former pseudo-New Age therapist is a demon granny. She doesn't feel the flavor. If she did, she'd quit giving advice. She'd be all cool hand Luke. Then she'd know, and she'd be as quiet as God. And we're going to be giving away some comps, aren't we, Dan?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are, for the movie, The Scarapist. Yes, we are, at the Shattuck Cinemas tomorrow night. And since we're in San Francisco, I'm having so much fun with you guys. Since we are in San Francisco, why not? My next door neighbor swears she sees hippies hiding in the foliage. They occupy the house down the street. She's not sure if they own it. Of course they don't own it. They're hippies. But there they sit. She sees them, she says, hiding behind bushes, hunched over. In the classic catatonic schizophrenic position, I say it's the LSD they're tripping. I know, she says, but they just sit there on the porch week after week after week, on the porch with the fullest recycling bin on the block. Just sit and stare. I imagine eyes shifting behind green growing things and think, boy, I've been called a hippie before, but I don't do that. And not countercultural enough not to think, hey, at 35, I think these guys could do a little bit better than that. I've got this poetry all over the place, and I have to do this for Veterans Day, and it's not even funny or anything, but then everything isn't funny, is it? It's not all funny. I don't know, I was at a Dodger game. This is gonna connect. Just try to follow where this is going. I'm at a Dodger game, and there's this guy, he's a teacher, but he works part-time selling concessions, and he walks around through the bleachers up and down, and he's always yelling out like, Coca-Cola, peanuts, and then he'll yell out, I've only got 2 nuts left. Like, that's his thing. I always love that guy. I've only got 2 nuts left. And I think I said to him once, I was like, that's probably the best most of us ever hope for. No. He was like, I like you. Have you ever read Worse Than Watergate by John Dean? And I thought, God, this is always happening to me. I'm at a Dodger game. This guy's talking about nuts. And while we're talking about John Dean and Worse Than Watergate, did anybody here read this book, Worse Than Watergate? It's incredible. It's atrocious because it's written by a guy from the Nixon administration who went to prison. And basically what he's saying, we were bad, but this is even more horrible than what we did. And he was talking about how like Dick Cheney used to run around with his little like manifestos about being in like a persistent state of war, and they all thought he was psychotic and that he'd never get anywhere. Now this is pretty horrifying to think even the conservatives of Nixon's day thought this guy was never getting anywhere, and he ends up being vice president. Isn't that amazing?
Pretty scary.
Yes, yes.
Real present.
Well, it's bizarre. And then Colin Powell, does anybody remember Colin Powell came out?
Oh, yeah.
Remember when he came out and he said, like, you know, if I'd known then what I know now about Iraq, it changes the calculus about going to war. You know, and so on Veterans Day, isn't that perfect?
And the truth of Nixon is even worse than what we know.
Oh, it's just, it goes on and on.
It's scarier than your movie.
It's, you know what? I like true stories. The scare of Nixon. This is called The Time It Takes. Renowned physicist and Big Bang theorist Victor Weisskopf once said that in the beginning there was a moment 1/billionth of a second long, followed by a brief spark, a bright flash, and God said, "Let there be light." He saw no contradiction between faith and observation, a human being and a snake. The time it takes to wait in the pause before a flash of light is the time it takes to think, the minute before a strike. 1,000 years of day and night, of orgasm, contraction, and birth. A cell splits, a breast drips, a cup spilled and swept. A flat tire, a car backfires, explosion, erosion of cities and roads. Fires and smoke. A child dies. A mother cries. Lambs slaughtered, raped daughters, slaying and praying one last breath, piercing death. The time it takes to anticipate. The pause before a flash of light is the time it takes to wait, the moment before a strike. Precious tempos best spent contemplating life and worth its weight in peace. Greater than any war effort is a collective human reflection. Please, 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 no more massacres orchestrated by the elite in the names of God. Chile, Haiti, East Timor, Iraq, all of their people are screaming as we speak. UN inspectors from Australia and the US, two countries that supported the war, found that the entire region of the Middle East spends 1/billionth of the dollars in arms per year than that of the United States, the country allegedly under threat. No weapons of mass destruction have been manufactured in Iraq since 1974. No conspiracy between Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden was found. So close your eyes and consider this. The power to destroy life is not nearly as important as the power to create it. Now imagine this. A universe is born in a flash of light. The time it takes a child to die. Now imagine this. The child is an Iraqi. You cradle her in your arms. Are you proud of your country? Or do you mourn the loss of a life? Whether Christian or Muslim, Palestinian or Persian, American, Iraqi or Jew, these are the questions the elite must ask, and we must ask ourselves before we ever support a war, because no matter who pulls the trigger, the blood is on the hands of the whole world. And I cry for this, and we cry for this as souls dreaming we are human beings in the time it takes to create, inside a brilliant flash of light, in the time it takes to kill, obliterate another life is all the time that is required to consider doing what is right in the pause before the strike.
Wow.
Happy Veterans Day, everybody. I feel very badly, and I have to say how badly I feel because I have an immense admiration for veterans. I have no idea what it must be like for them. I'm not a veteran. But I feel like it is poor people, middle-class people, going over to kill poor people for rich people most of the time. And someone asked me, what would you do, you know, to change the world? Sometimes people ask you that when you criticize it, you know, almost like sarcastically, well, what would you do? And my answer is usually the same. Stop killing poor people. Stop killing poor people. Stop killing poor people. Stop killing poor people. Stop killing poor people would solve a large number of the world's problems. And it's not just the physical death, it's the struggle every day, the chokehold that is placed onto poor people, and really then all people. I'm really for the people. I love people. I love you people. I want to see you people be victorious. We are victorious because we're here and they're not.
Yep.
We're here and they're not. We're performing poetry. We're singing our songs. We're telling our stories. We're weaving our tales. We're singing. We're celebrating being human. That's what we're here to do. And to help each other up. To help each other up. To help each other up. Thank God. Thank God. Thank you. Couple more?
Yeah, you got a couple.
Got a couple more. I got a couple more in me. Yeah. Yeah. This is for the ladies in the audience and the men. Because I like you too. But you gotta understand. You gotta understand our battles and our struggles, right? Men succeed where women are sluts.
Oh, yes.
Men who are loud are alpha masculine. The loudest monkey is king. Their females are expected to cower. Women who are loud are not feminine. Women who are loud are sluts. Men succeed where women are sluts. Men who draw attention themselves are funny and sexy. A confident peacock struts his colors. Their females are expected to swoon. Women who do not swoon are frigid, bitches, and bull dykes. Women who draw attention themselves are sluts. Men with multiple partners are studs. Women with multiple partners are sluts. White males have the vote, then black males, then women. Women who do not wait patiently without complaint are premenstrual or just need to get laid. Once laid, they are sluts. The 10 richest men in the world are 7.5 times richer than the richest women. Bill Gates, Ted Turner, Warren Buffett, and Donald Trump are successful. Madonna is a slut. If a woman is raped in Afghanistan by a familiar, she is murdered. If a woman is raped in America by anyone, she is asked what she was wearing. Women who are raped are sluts. A wife or mother receives no income. A career woman gets paid 2/3 of a man's salary for the same job and just needs to get laid. One is a slut for one man, the other is a slut for no man. Both are sluts. Women with unpaid or paying jobs are sluts. Men who visit sluts are heroes, lonely husbands, politicians, televangelists, and teenagers who just need to get laid. Women who are sluts are just sluts. Across the board, women score lower than men in a poetry slam. Women who slam are sluts. Men succeed where women are sluts. I'm loud, I vote, I'm a mother and a fucker and a loud motherfucking cocksucker. I have very bad language. And a career I've created for myself. I get laid on a regular basis. I perform my poetry in slams worldwide. I'm a poet and a slammer and a skinny little slut. I'm proud to be a woman from the depths of my gut. Men succeed where women are sluts. So score this, motherfucker. 30 years of anger boiling up. Sucks. Yes. And I have had so many wonderful women come to me. I'm a slut. Yes, I'm a slut. I'm a slut too. Yeah. Sluts. Taking over the world. I have one more to do. I'm thinking about which one to do now. No. All right. All right, you guys, you can choose. The Virgin Mary or Helen of Troy.
Virgin Mary.
The Virgin Mary.
All right, we got to see hands because I'm hearing.
Virgin Mary. Virgin Mary.
Virgin Helen of Troy.
Well, I don't know about that now.
Thomas Alva Edison.
Yes, sorry, Maureen O'Hara. I don't have any points about Maureen. All right, Richard wants
The Virgin
the
Mary.
Virgin Mary.
Because I know background, so.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on Helen of Troy. I'm Jewish. I know no background.
Damn it, you guys are making this hard. All right, well, okay, it's
It's
very.
your responsibility.
Damn.
I hate it when people tell me that.
Ask the Virgin Mary what you should do.
Yeah.
Yeah. She says I should do purple. All right.
Mary.
Of course. Hail Mary. You know, actually, there's something to this. Think about this. You know, the mothers. If we got all the mothers of all the religious leaders together, I think we would have peace.
That's it.
I think not only would they offer us, you know, some gentle wisdom and some nurturing, they'd probably say, shut the hell up and just work it out. Work it out. Work it out. I see this all the time. What's the right thing to say? Should I say Happy Yule? Should I say Merry Christmas? Say what you mean, right? Because otherwise we're just using language. Am I right about this?
But if they don't work it out, if it's a true matriarchal society, if they don't do it, they're out. That's a good society to have. That's
Well, now, if you decide that, it's not matriarchal, because you're a guy.
No, it's an
Unless you're a
advisor.
slut.
It's an advisor.
It's an
It's not
advisor.
a telling you what to do. It's just a take it under advice.
I better do this, though. Okay, take it under. I'll take it under advice. I'll take it to the grandmother committee.
No, I think it's a, I like that.
I am a Sicilian grandmother, you know.
Hey.
So I can order people to throw people out the
Then you
window.
search yourself.
Thank you, thank you. All right, so I'm not fully responsible for this, Mr. Brady, because it was inspired when I was praying the rosary. That's right.
Oh, the rosaries.
Yes, yes. All right, this is called Yenta Mary. You have no idea. My son died and broke my heart. 3 days later, he comes back with this crazy story about rising from the dead. I just get used to his shining face and he's gone again after 40 days and 40 nights, just like that time he went to the desert, something about India, and the next thing I know, he comes back a man. It's like the London stage version of Les Miserables. If you're gonna go, just go already. They say the birth was painless, but I'd like to see you try pushing out the little savior in the freezing cold, lying on a bunch of straw while your husband, who almost run out on you, forgets to bring his suitcase and a lollipop. And then we'll talk about painless. And when he was in the womb, what a kicker. Always standing up, then sitting down, then kneeling all day long. When he was 12 years old and went to temple, and his stepfather and I had to hunt all over the damn Capitol for him, I was the one who hid his stuffed camel for a week. Oh, I was mad, I was worried, sick. I remember the old days when things were simpler, before you had to capitalize every Holy Roman pronoun, always he this and him that. I used to pray to his father and only one of them would show up. Now when I cried, oh my God, I've got 3 persons of a Trinity rushing in my backyard. And they all want snacks. It's like the Twix bar. You want the chocolate, you get the caramel and the cookie crunch too. And you thought you had issues with Catholicism. When they yanked me up to heaven, I cried out, son, oh, watch my reciters, watch the left shoulder, feast of the Assumption, my eye. But it's nice up here, a little cloudy at times, but Jesus keeps his room neat. If only he'd found a nice girl to marry instead of that Mary Magdalene. But he's a good boy, and he loves his mother.
We're going to take a slight break. We have a kick-ass second half, so we have enough to fill up this evening, and it's going to be really cool. So hang on to your hats. I'm going to cut off the video for the moment for the people, the one person who wants to.
So we can talk.
So you can talk in privacy. So about 8 minutes, we'll be back. Smoking if you have them. Come up to me and annoy me when you want. There's things on the table. Remember, I got plans and a few other things to talk about. All right, we pause this here.